If you ever want to foil a binomial faster, something that can help us turn the answer choices into the original problem or vice versa, which I'm going to go into now because that's what the test shows us to do. The way you want to remember how to do that quickly is you square the first, square the last, multiply for the middle, but then double it fast. So what do I mean by that? What's the point of that? Well, instead of just having a foil straight up with this, where you go, okay, what is x times x plus x, and then you add all those terms together. What you can do is remember that jingle that I just showed you, and that is you square the first, so x, the first term here, x squared is just x squared, square the last, which gives us y squared, multiply for the middle, xy, but then double it fast, times 2. And since they're all positive, we're going to add these all terms together. This is the same thing as that. And what's good about that method I just showed you is that you can apply it to all of these answer choices here and try and turn it into the original problem. And now what I'm going to show you is how it kind of works in reverse, which is what the test wants us to do for this method. And even though that's what the test shows, this may not be the most obvious method. So remember, if you felt that way, like what I'm about to show you isn't necessarily natural, that's fine. Because it's an equivalent expression, all you need to do is either FOIL these out, which could take some time. You can also create your own values where a equals 1 and b equals 2. You plug that into this equation here and then plug them into each of these equations here, and the ones that give you the same answer both here and there will be the right answer. And then the method that they show us in the book, I'll show us now, is rewriting this expression here, where we can kind of get the foundation of square the first, square the last, multiply for the middle, and double it fast. And what I mean by that is we need to have, let's just think of this entire term as like x, and this entire term is y. What we can do is we can see like, oh, how can I rearrange all of these terms in the middle as well, like to have it? And well, there's no way to actually turn 9a, because there's nothing times 9 that can get you back to 12. Because if I were to, like, let's say I made this 9, I would have to erase this and think like, what number times 9 would get me to 12, or 9 times 1 gets me, it's not going to work out for me. What I can do is I can simplify our first term here by rewriting this as 3a, and that a squared, and then this is being squared. Because if you notice, then I will distribute that squared to both terms in here and end up with 3 squared, which brings me to 9, and then a squared brings me back to a to the 4th. And then I can rewrite this as 2 outside of 3a squared. And I know I want this to be 3a squared because now it matches this term inside of that, times 2b squared. And then I'm going to plus that to what this would now transform into, which is 2b squared being squared. And if you realize, it's hard to see right off the bat, but if this is our x, and this is our y, and this is our x, y, and there's a 2 outside here, and we see that this is x squared and this is y squared. If we associate all those terms here correctly, what we can see is we can now rewrite this as a binomial just being squared, where now we can just say it is 3a squared plus 2b squared, and then we will square that whole section here. I recommend you try this a few times, replay this video maybe a few times to kind of get that. And again, this is number 4. I wouldn't even myself expect to have to think of something this complex at so early in the game of a no calculator section, but you know, that's what the test shows us, so it's good to practice it, to have it. Again, honestly, this early in the game, the first thing that would have came to my mind is plugging in values for a and b and seeing which one of these answers, when I plug in the same value for a and b, will give me the same output.